Oh my God, I like haven't even started the video and I'm already so depressed. Look what I just did. Okay, I'm setting up my tripod. Why don't you YouTube, Lindy? Why? Because I'm a disaster person. I'm setting up my tripod, it falls backwards, and it broke the string on my gong. I've had the gong for a really long time. It's a meditation gong that my mom gave me while I was in college. And this is like a leather string, and it's been, I've dinged the thing a million times, and so it's been dying for a while, but now I've just seriously, I broke my gong in order to make this video. So I just want you to appreciate that before I even start. So hello. It's been about 2 months since I have made a video. Before anyone asks, yes, I am a 33-year-old woman who went shopping at Claire's. So I am wearing a scrunchie today. It's 2020. Just because I'm ancient doesn't mean that I can't wear a scrunchie. In fact, I've been wearing scrunchies for 30 years. Anyway, that's not important. So I've been gone for 2 months, and oh my God, the tripod. Okay, I am a disaster person. Why do I even try and make videos? And I know the last time that I made a video, I was like, oh, I'm 2 months sober. I'm totally gonna make more videos. Leave a question in the comments. I'll make a Q&A video. And then I just disappeared. Well, sorry, I got a notification. So here's what happened is 3 days after I released that video, one of my sisters had a seizure, a very scary seizure, had to go be in the hospital for 5 days. I had to watch my 2-year-old niece because of COVID, there's only one person allowed in the hospital as a visitor. So her husband was in the hospital. So I had to watch the baby. And yeah, it was super scary and not YouTube content. I thought my sister might die. So I didn't film right away, and then I just kind of lost interest. And it's been kind of it's been a thing where I've been thinking about it, oh, I should do this. I told these people I was gonna answer their questions, and then I just never answered their questions. So I'm gonna answer your questions now. And another question I'm going to address right away is that, yes, I'm still sober. I am going to have 4 months today's day 120. So if you want to divide that by 30, I have 4 months, but technically I quit on the 28th of the month. So I still have a couple more days to go. But yeah, let's answer some questions. Okay, I have my laptop. I'm going to read some questions that I got on my last video. Ezra SD said, "Hey Lindy, it makes me feel so nice to see this. As someone who's been in and out of the program, I was wondering if you'd like to share your thoughts on / potential experiences with AA. I have my own little things that have been keeping me away for some time, and Zoom-only meetings during COVID haven't seemed to nurture my serenity very well. Would love to listen if you've had anything to say, and wish you much happiness, health, and sobriety." Well, thank you, Ezra. I have been to AA meetings. This was a long time ago. So as I was discussing in my 2-month sobriety video, I've been an addict for a long time. So I'm talking I've been in active addiction for 15 years or something. And when I was really young, when I was a teenager, I did go into a treatment program at one point. Back then, my main drugs of choice were alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine. And I did a day treatment program where it's I went 3 days a week. And then on top of that, I, interspersed in there, I also did some AA meetings. And I guess those are the only in-person AA meetings I've ever been to. And I'm not going to knock it. I definitely am not going to knock it because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be there. I was so wrapped up in my own mental illness and my own anxiety and just I was so paranoid about being in public all the time. This was during the same period of time where I was like in the mental hospital like a half a dozen times in a year, that going to these meetings was like being in hell, like being in actual hell. And I always just, sort of like cowered in the back and never talked to anyone. And I never had a sponsor and I never did any of the steps. And I just could not get out of there fast enough every single time I went, just in different churches around Boston, just sort of anxiously tapping my foot in the back, not just could not wait to leave. And then obviously nothing stuck because I just went back to drinking and doing drugs for a solid decade after that. And yeah, so I guess I'm just not the best person to ask. That being said, I have listened to a good chunk of the Big Book since I've been sober this time, and I relate to a lot of experiences in the Big Book. I would say that probably one thing that I've really taken from this early period of sobriety for me is that I never understood in AA when they would say, like, I have admitted that I am powerless over alcohol. I always thought that was like a cowardly thing to say. I was like, I'm not powerless. I have the power to overcome this. And some wisdom that I've taken from that recently is realizing that I am powerless over alcohol because I am not able to moderate my drinking. That when I ingest alcohol, it sets off an addiction cycle in my brain that I literally am not in control of, and that the only way that I can control my alcohol use is to totally abstain from it. So I guess that's something that I've gotten from AA, is that has wound up being very true for me. And I guess that I am also a member of the Reddit forum, r Stop Drinking, which is heavily influenced by AA. So I guess that I would recommend that. But yeah, I guess I just don't have very much experience. But thank you for the question, and I wish you the best. Meet Me in the Woods at Midnight asked, question, how did you grow your Tumblr blog? Did it happen organically, or was it something you set out to do? It was something I set out to do. I did it on purpose. And the way that I did it was, so if anyone follows me, I'm sure that most of the people who watch me on here found me through my Tumblr blog. If you follow me on Tumblr, you may not know this, but like during the big heyday of Tumblr, like in like 2013 to 2015-ish, I had a different blog that was a lot more popular than the blog that I have right now. The original Weird Wide Web blog topped out at like 112,000 followers, like during the point where Tumblr was like the most popular as a website, and I did that on purpose. Here's what I did. So there was an old website called Space Ghetto, which don't go on there. It's just terrible. It is like the asshole of the internet. It's like, I think the last time I checked, it's like not even around anymore. There's just like different mutations of it, which is just awful. Don't go on there. But for a while, it was a really great image forum. And what I did was I started a Tumblr blog, and so on Space Ghetto, it's just the trash of the internet. There's a ton of shit on there that is just horrible. Like, shit that I'm not interested in at all. Like, gore and the racism and all that, and the horrible internet stuff, But interspersed in there's all this really weird, wonderful content. And so I made a blog where I would just steal from Space Ghetto the good stuff and put it on my blog. And leave out all the horrible racist gore. And so at the time, I was working part-time in a furniture store, and I had a lot of free time. I basically treated Tumblr like a part-time job. I spent hours every day finding images on this forum and then loading them into my queue. And Basically, the way that I grew my blog was that because I was the original uploader of all of these images, um, the source blog is tagged on the image, no matter how many times it gets reblogged. So by being the source blog on so many of these weird images that were original uploads on Tumblr, that's how people found my blog. And so I just spent like hours a day finding images, putting them on Tumblr, and just sort of obsessively like watching my follower count go up. And I loved it. I loved the attention. It was like it gave me a really good hobby, and like some, like, as corny as it sounds, like it really gave me like some affirmation that, and not just with the images, that I have good taste. And then also with my text posts getting really popular, it's like, just this feedback that is like, hey, you are smart, you are funny, you are interesting. And it made me feel really good, because I was in a lot of like, I was in a not great place in my life. And it was a really positive thing that happened. And so, yeah, I just got really obsessed with it, and I don't regret it. I love that stupid website, and I will never stop blogging on there, ever. Okay? And I don't even care that that I'm like entering middle age. I will be a middle-aged Tumblr blogger. I do not care. I was not in my 30s when I started my blog. Let's just say that. Okay. Andy Wonderland said, "You are a huge inspiration to me. I followed on Tumblr, and after I watched your YouTube videos, I really resonated with your story. I have to handle many different diagnoses and thought patterns on a daily basis. I'm trying to find balance. Do you have an Instagram? Have you ever felt unconditional love from a pet? Do you believe in extraterrestrial life forms? Do you have a peculiar food palate? Thank you for sharing your story. I'm looking to do the same shortly." Thank you, Andy Wonderland. Well, let's see here. There's a couple of questions in there. Do you have an Instagram? I have an Instagram, but I do not post, so I won't even bother sharing it. It's really just to kind of stalk some people, and I don't even do that. So, have you ever felt unconditional love from a pet? I don't know. I don't know if I think that unconditional love is an emotion that I would assign to an animal like that. I feel unconditional love for my pets. But I don't know, like your pet is kind of, how do I say this? I don't even know. I feel like a weirdo. You hold the power of life and death over your pets. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are absolutely reasons why a pet would stop loving me. You know what I mean? Like, not that, like, I would never, like, kick my cat out a window or anything, but, like, I guess that I feel ooky assigning that emotion to an animal when it's like, I don't feel that I deserve unconditional love from a pet. I feel like I deserve conditional love from a pet. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's nothing that my cat could do that would make me stop loving him, but there are things I could do where my cat would stop loving me. It's sort of like with children and parents. Like, I feel like parents unconditionally love their children, but children don't unconditionally love their parents. Or maybe I come from a fucked up family. I don't know. Do you unconditionally love your parents? Maybe that's a question for the audience. Okay. Do you believe in extraterrestrial life forms? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I am 100% certain that aliens exist. I don't know. I don't think that they've contacted humanity, or at least I don't see any compelling evidence for that. But do they exist in general? Absolutely. They're out there right now. As I'm speaking, they are on their home planets, hanging out. I don't hold out much hope that we will contact them in my lifetime or in the next however long. I don't know. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be terrifying. I would definitely I don't know that I would want to contact extraterrestrials in my lifetime. It might be just too scary because they're probably not like we think that they are. I'm just gonna leave it at that, okay? Do you have a peculiar food palate? Or is it peculiar? Maybe means particular. I like cheese and meats and fats and salt. And I'm very simple in my palate. Like, I just like cheesy, meaty, salty, fatty things. And I guess that would be mainly what I'm attracted to. And also pasta. That's it. Just like bland American food. Love it. Oh, and I guess that's all. Thank you, Andy Wonderland, for your questions. Oh, you know what? And I hope that I'm not I just have been kind of skipping around, but I'm realizing now that there are questions that I didn't see in my original pass through. Saul said, is it hard to journal regularly, or do you find yourself grinding your mind about it the whole day? I think I would, which is why I'm asking. So in my last video, I explained that I've been journaling 3 times a day, or at least I didn't watch this video before I started this. I think that's what I said, because that's what I've been doing. So journaling is something I have done on a daily basis for, I don't know, 16 years, something like that. I have journals going all the way back to the year 2001. Like, I really have almost 20 years of journaling, and on a daily basis, more or less, for 16 years. So I'm really, really comfortable just talking to myself. Perhaps this has something to do with my success on the internet. I'm fine talking into the void. This is my home. This is my comfort zone. And I guess that I don't find it difficult to journal every day because it's something only for me, and so I feel no pressure to have it be presentable or have it be acceptable to anyone else. It's just, I use journaling as a kind of emotional regulating tool. So I just when I journal, what I'm getting in there usually is like, I'm feeling, maybe a little tightness in my chest right now. I'm feeling a little anxious. I'm trying to figure out, maybe it's because I thought about this morning, and so I'm fine. I just, this is how I can resolve that problem, and here's what I need to do for the rest of the day. Okay, I'm gonna finish my work, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just basically like reassuring myself and like talking through my problems. Or if I'm reading, I read a lot of self-help books, so there's something that I'm thinking about in regards to like trauma and healing, and I try and repeat the ideas that I hear in books into the journal, just because putting something into your own words, it helps you to remember it. And but mostly it's just for emotional regulation. That's why I make myself journal 3 times a day. Although that's a fairly new addition. I usually just journal once a day. And it's, I really don't know where I would be without it. I feel crazy when I don't journal. Like, when I don't, like, that's just a one-way track to instability. If I don't get my ideas out on paper, and also, like, no one wants to listen to me talk that much. No one. Listen, I live alone. I do not, and even if I, like, lived with a partner, like, no one wants to listen to me talk about every single little thing in my life. I am aware of this. And so it's nice to just be able to get it out, because, like, I'm just, like, I'm like a very language-based person, like whatever, left brain, right brain, I don't remember, but like whatever the language part of my brain it's just totally dominant, and I'm sure, yeah, okay. So whatever. I guess that's the language part of my brain being really smart right now. So like, okay. Daniel Bastos said, how many times a week do you have to drink to be considered an alcoholic? I drink every night, but I don't consider myself one of them. Well, I am not an expert, and I'm not a doctor, and you know your life, and I really only know my life. And I can say that I personally, and as someone who's not an expert on addiction, who only knows my life, the way that I would quantify it is that it's not necessarily the number of drinks I was having or the amount of nights in a week I was drinking. And certainly there have been long periods in my life where I drank every single day. And that obviously was like textbook alcoholism. For me, it's like I would wake up feeling terrible, being hungover, and then start drinking and just basically drink all the time, you know? And I guess that even like in the past year where and I explained this in my last video, is like I wasn't drinking every day. I was probably only drinking one night a week, 2 nights a week maybe. But when I was drinking, I was consistently drinking way more than I intended to, and did not have an off switch. Once I started drinking, I would drink until all the alcohol in the house was gone, and I didn't have I didn't seem to have any control to moderate how much I was drinking, and I would suffer consequences for this. You know, my hangovers were just terrible, and I would have to nurse myself back to health for like several days, and then I would feel okay again, and then I would binge again, and it would just start the cycle over and over again. And I recognized that this was a problem, and I tried to cut down on my drinking, and I would try and say to myself, oh, I'm gonna only have 2, and then I would have 10 instead, and that attempt after attempt after attempt to decrease the frequency and the severity of my binges yielded no results, and I realized that I wasn't able to moderate at all, and or that it was taking just an astronomical amount of effort to be able to moderate for 1 or 2 weeks, and then I would go right back to it. And so that's how I knew that I had a problem, is that it was that 1, it was a problem. It was a problem in my life. And 2, that I was not able to modify my behavior to make it not a problem, despite really fucking trying for years. So I guess that if that sounds like you, maybe you have a problem, but I know I know people who drink every day and it's not a problem. So they say. So Bone Crusher said, you are absolutely fabulous. How often do you do your grocery shopping? Do you ever stock up on water? Can you possibly do some in-store videos? I think it would be awesome if you could show you do your full shopping trip. Well, thank you. I think that would be interesting too. Maybe I will do that. How often do I go grocery shopping? I only go once a week. And yeah, so maybe some people go once every 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm a simple woman. I live alone. I buy a lot of perishables. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And so once a week. Do I ever stock up on water? I don't buy water. I just drink tap water. Minneapolis tap water is pretty good. So I just drink that. So no, I don't have any water that doesn't come out of the wall, which is bad when the water gets shut off, like it did the other day. I turned on the tap, no water. I had to go to the store, and it was closed because it was. Sometimes I wonder about giving away information about where I live, but this is so general because the store I live above is a Muslim store, and it was closed because they were praying, as happens sometimes. It would be, could you possibly do some in-store videos? Maybe I will. I've done some in-store videos. This is a fun Easter egg. So you remember during the Minneapolis riots one of the first thing that happened during the riot was that Target got looted. If you go back in my videos, there are a couple videos where I am in that Target. So I have done in-store videos before and captured a slice of history. Who knew? Well, guys, it's been fun. And I'm so sorry if I missed your question. I was just kind of going through the questions. And yeah, I swear this time, I'm really gonna start doing more videos. Swearsies. Okay,